Thanks for taking a look at my upcoming one-day workshop. Now, just for attending, I'm going to be giving you my most recent book. It's called Aftershock Australia, How to Protect Yourself and Profit from the Worst Economic Meltdown in 100 Years. Now, this book follows on from my previous book earlier this year called Conquer the Chaos. In this book, I talk about how we got to where we are, where we're at in the cycle and how to survive the times. But in Aftershock Australia, I take it further. You see, I focus on where we're going, how we can overcome the fear and uncertainty and anxiety that everybody seems to be going through, and how to protect yourself and your family in these crazy times. You see, we're living in extremely liquid times. I've got job keeper, stopping, but maybe not for all. Job seeker, stopping, but at what level? Banks extending home loan holiday periods, but only for some. We've got elections happening, shops are opening up and then having to close back down again. Everything is changing. And we need to be adaptable and we need to be well informed. And that's why I'm hosting Aftershock Australia workshop. I'll be covering information and data that nobody else is talking about. You see, mainstream media is only focusing on the pain and the hardship, and the real economic data isn't being talked about, it isn't being shown. And most importantly, they're not talking about how you can benefit from the opportunities that are available right now. You owe it to yourself and to your family and their futures to be informed, to step up and take back control. The next 12 months, what you're going to see is the greatest wealth-making opportunity that we have seen in decades. It's a reset. It's an economic reset. Opportunities where you'll see fortunes being made. Wealth is going to be doubled, tripled, and even quadrupled during this period of time. But for who? Who's making all this money? Well, I'll tell you who. It's the educated. It's the informed. It's those who are the most adaptable to change. There's a very famous quote by Charles Darwin, and he says, "It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent. It is the most adaptable to change." And that's where we need to be. It's about applying good data, well-researched information, documented historical performances and data, and market cycles. At my one-day workshop, Aftershock Australia, I will be working you through exactly that. I've got data and information that's not available elsewhere. I'm making forward projections 5 to 7 years into the future. I remember back in 2010, 2011, there was a conference I was speaking at to 6,000 to 8,000 people in Sydney and in Melbourne. And there was a couple of Americans there who were talking about how we were going to see a massive crash. Now, obviously, this was at the end of GFC. And property prices were going to fall by 30%. Well, there were some Australian economists there as well that were saying similar types of things. But you see, I had to follow these guys on stage. And I was backstage typing up my presentation, changing it, and I showed people why that wasn't going to happen, why it couldn't happen, and why we're actually in for a massive boom and why we were different to America. So whether it's American economists or Australian economists, I am an economist. I'm an accountant and an economist. I've written numerous books on wealth and education and how to build your wealth and create sustainable income streams that you can live on for the rest of your life. And I followed these guys. I showed you why that couldn't happen. And I want to talk about that today. Because again, we're talking about massive crashes. Now, I'm not saying there's not going to be a fallout. There will be. There absolutely will be. But it's more about the opportunities they're created, how long it's going to last, what those opportunities are, and how you can make massive, massive gains through these next 12 months. But you've got to be prepared and you've got to be well informed. Back then there was a famous professor, he was an economics professor, and he made a big song and dance about how he was selling his property in Sydney and Surrey Hills, and he sold it for $515,000 from memory. Now today, the median house price in Surrey Hills is $1.2 million. He even made a bet with one of his colleagues that if the prices didn't fall within a certain period of time, he was going to climb Mount Kosciuszko. Well, guess what? He climbed Mount Kosciuszko because, of course, it didn't happen. The Aftershock Summit, it's on this Saturday. It's a full one-day training with me, just me. I've put together 7 hours of content. There's lots of information to learn and to digest. But most importantly, it's about you moving forward and being able to take up the opportunities that are going to be there. Not quite yet, but in a little period of time. And you want to be part of that movement. Plus, of course, you get my new book, Aftershock Australia. So we're going to have some fun. But most importantly, you're going to get informed. What's going on right now? What's likely to happen? how to protect yourself and your family through this period of time, and how you can be the ones who thrive through this period of time, regardless of your starting position. You owe it to yourself and to your family to be there. So I'll see you on Saturday, 9:30 sharp. Bye now.